Have you ever witnessed a story so unbelievable that it feels like it came straight out of a miracle? Imagine a baby surviving a raging fire unscathed, holding onto a Quran that remained untouched by flames. How could something like this happen? Let's dive into this extraordinary event that has left even the most skeptical people questioning their beliefs. Los Angeles is no stranger to fires, from the wildfires that rage through its hillsides to unexpected blazes in urban areas. The city's firefighters are constantly battling against nature's fury. But what happened one fateful night in the Pacific Palisades was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. The fire started as a small spark but quickly spread, engulfing homes, trees, and everything in its path. The sky turned an eerie orange as thick smoke choked the air, and residents scrambled to escape with whatever they could carry. Among the chaos there was one house that drew particular attention, a modest home that belonged to a young Muslim couple and their baby, Abdullah. By the time firefighters arrived, the house was almost completely consumed by flames. The scene was heartbreaking, and hope seemed lost. But then, something incredible happened. Lucas, a seasoned firefighter with over 15 years of experience, felt an inexplicable pull toward the burning home. He and his team had already marked it as unsalvageable, yet something told him to go inside. Clad in his protective gear, he braved the searing heat and entered through a shattered window. The smoke was blinding, and the heat was unbearable. Lucas navigated through the collapsing structure, his heart racing. Then, through the chaos, he heard it, a faint cry. Following the sound, he reached a room that seemed on the verge of collapse. What he saw next stopped him in his tracks. There, on the scorched floor, lay baby Abdullah. The walls around him were charred black, and the air was thick with smoke, yet the area immediately surrounding the baby was untouched. Even more astonishing, Abdullah was clutching a small Quran to his chest. Both the child and the holy book were completely unharmed. It was as if an invisible barrier had shielded them from the inferno. Lucas scooped up the baby and rushed outside, his colleagues' eyes widening in disbelief as he emerged from the smoke. The sight of the unscathed baby holding the Quran left everyone speechless. Medical personnel examined Abdullah, expecting burns or signs of trauma, but there were none, not a single scratch or sign of heat exposure. News of the miraculous rescue spread like wildfire. Journalists flocked to the scene, and Lucas found himself recounting the story to reporters. "I've seen a lot in my career," he said, "but nothing like this. It's beyond explanation." As Abdullah's story gained traction, it sparked conversations far beyond the immediate tragedy. How could a baby survive such extreme conditions without a single injury? What was the significance of the Quran that remained untouched? For the Muslim community, it was seen as a powerful sign of divine intervention, a reminder of faith and resilience in the face of unimaginable hardship. But the miracle also resonated with people of different beliefs. Many began to reflect on the mysteries of life and the moments that challenge our understanding of the world. Even those who had never picked up a Quran became curious, wondering what made this book so special. The story also shed light on the broader context of leadership during crises. While many praised the bravery of Lucas and his team, others questioned why the house hadn't been prioritized earlier in the rescue efforts. Could more lives have been saved? And what about Abdullah's parents, Ahmad and Leah, who remained missing despite extensive searches? Their disappearance added another layer of mystery to the story. Neighbors described them as a kind and devout couple, active in their community and deeply loving toward their son. Yet, amid the chaos of the fire, they seemed to vanish without a trace. The unanswered questions left many pondering the fragility of life and the enduring strength of hope. It was a scene of utter devastation. Among the homes in the path of the fire was a modest house belonging to a young Muslim couple. They had only recently moved in, their lives full of hope and dreams. The fire, however, did not discriminate. It swept through the canyons with a terrifying speed, engulfing everything in its path. The young couple's home was quickly consumed by the flames. The heat was so intense that it melted metal and turned wood to ash in minutes. It seemed impossible that anything could survive such an inferno. Lucas, a seasoned firefighter, was battling the blaze with his team. The fire was relentless, consuming everything in its path. Flames roared like a beast, and the heat was intense, almost unbearable. Lucas had faced many fires before, but this one felt different. It was as if the fire had a life of its own, determined to destroy everything in its wake. Exhausted and covered in soot, they moved from house to house, trying to salvage what little they could. Each step was heavy, their bodies weary from the relentless battle. The air was thick with smoke, making it hard to breathe. They had been at it for hours, and the toll was evident on their faces. Yet they pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and the hope of saving lives. As they approached the remains of the young couple's home, Lucas felt a sudden urge to go inside. He couldn't explain it. It was a gut feeling, an intuition that something or someone needed his help. His heart raced as he stood in front of the charred remains, the structure barely holding up. The house looked like it had been through hell, and there was no logical reason for anyone to be alive in there. The fire had ravaged the place, leaving nothing but ashes and debris. The roof had caved in, and the walls were blackened and crumbling. It was a scene of utter devastation. But Lucas couldn't shake the feeling that he needed to go inside. It was as if an invisible hand was guiding him, urging him to take action. Yet, something pulled him towards the burning structure. It was a force stronger than fear, stronger than reason. He felt a sense of urgency, a need to act quickly. His colleagues shouted at him to stay back, to wait for backup, but Lucas couldn't wait. He knew that every second counted. Ignoring their protests, he took a deep breath and steeled himself for what lay ahead. Ignoring the protests of his colleagues, Lucas charged into the inferno. The heat was intense, like walking into an oven. The flames licked at his gear, and the smoke was so thick that he could barely see. But he pressed on, driven by an unknown force. His instincts took over, guiding him through the maze of burning debris. He moved quickly, his eyes scanning for any signs of life. The heat was unbearable, the smoke blinding. It was a struggle to keep moving, but Lucas didn't stop. He pushed through the pain, the fear, and the doubt. His mind was focused on one thing, finding whoever or whatever was calling him. The smoke stung his eyes, and his lungs burned with every breath. But he kept going, driven by a determination that he couldn't explain. But Lucas pushed on, driven by an unknown force. He felt a sense of purpose, a mission that he had to complete. The flames roared around him, and the heat was suffocating. But he didn't waver. He moved with a sense of urgency, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew that time was running out, and he had to act fast. With every step, he got closer to the source of his intuition, hoping that he wasn't too late. Section 5. An eerie calm. Inside the house, Lucas found an eerie calm. The roaring of the fire seemed distant, the air strangely still. And then he saw it. In what was once a nursery, lay a baby boy, fast asleep in his crib. The crib was untouched by the fire, an oasis of peace amidst the devastation. But that wasn't all. The baby was clutching something. Lucas leaned closer and saw that it was a Quran, its pages open. The Quran, too, was completely untouched by the fire. Section 6. A miracle in the midst of tragedy. Lucas gently scooped up the baby in the Quran. He emerged from the inferno, blinking against the sunlight. His colleagues were stunned. They had given up hope of finding any survivors. The paramedics rushed the baby to the hospital, where he was given a clean bill of health. The baby, they said, was a miracle. The baby, who they later learned was named Abdullah, became a symbol of hope. He was living proof that even in the darkest of times, miracles can happen. Section 7. A beacon of hope. In the darkest of times, even the smallest light can shine the brightest. This is the story of such a light, a story that transcended borders and touched the hearts of millions. The story of baby Abdullah and the Quran spread like wildfire. It wasn't just a tale, it was a phenomenon that captured the imagination of people around the globe. The headlines screamed of a miracle, a baby born amidst chaos, holding a Quran in his tiny hands. The Muslim community saw it as a sign from God, a testament to the power of faith. In mosques, prayers were offered, and tears of joy were shed. It was as if the heavens had opened up to deliver a message of hope and resilience. For others, it was a story of hope, a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable tragedy, life can find a way. It was a beacon that guided them through their darkest hours, a symbol that life, no matter how fragile, is incredibly resilient. News channels picked up the story. Newspapers ran front-page articles. The world was captivated by the miraculous tale of baby Abdullah. It was a story that transcended religious and cultural boundaries, uniting people in a shared sense of wonder and hope. People from all walks of life were touched by the miraculous tale. It didn't matter where they came from or what they believed in. The story of baby Abdullah resonated with the universal human spirit. It was a reminder that in our shared humanity, we can find strength and solace. Abdullah became a symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope in a world that seemed to be growing darker by the day. His story was a testament to the enduring power of hope and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. In every smile, in every tear, in every prayer, baby Abdullah's legacy lived on, reminding us all that even in the darkest of times, there is always a light that can guide us through. Section 8. The Missing Couple. But amidst the joy and wonder, there was also a shadow of sadness. The parents of baby Abdullah were missing. Despite a thorough search of the area, no trace of them was found. The mystery of their disappearance deepened the intrigue surrounding the already incredible story. Where were they? Had they somehow survived the fire and were lost or injured, or had something more sinister happened? The authorities investigated every lead, but the couple seemed to have vanished without a trace. Section 9. The Unanswered Questions. The story of baby Abdullah and the Quran is a story that stays with you. It is a tale that transcends time and space, touching the hearts of those who hear it. Abdullah, a child born into a world of uncertainty, found solace in the words of the Quran. His story is not just about a baby, but about the power of faith, and the strength it can provide in the most trying of times. It is a story of faith and resilience, of hope and despair, of a community coming together in the face of adversity. The prayers whispered in the quiet corners of the mosque, the hands that hold the Quran with unwavering belief, and the determined faces of those who refuse to give up, all paint a picture of a collective spirit that refuses to be broken. It is a story of the known and the unknown. The starry night sky, vast and infinite, represents the mysteries of the universe that we have yet to unravel. The fog that blankets the landscape symbolizes the uncertainties that cloud our understanding, and the thoughtful face deep in contemplation reflects our eternal quest for knowledge and meaning. It is a story that reminds us that even in a world driven by logic and reason, there are still things we cannot explain. The bustling city, with its ceaseless activity, represents the progress of human civilization. The people working at computers and in scientific laboratories symbolize our relentless pursuit of knowledge. Yet despite our advancements, there remain phenomena that elude our comprehension. There are still things we cannot explain: the unexplained natural phenomena, the mysterious ruins that hint at ancient civilizations, and the puzzled expressions of those who seek answers, all serve as reminders of the limits of our understanding. These mysteries challenge our perception of reality and compel us to question the very foundations of our beliefs. It is a story that makes you question your own beliefs, your own understanding of the world. As you read the pages of this story, you find yourself reflecting on your own experiences and the lessons you have learned. The pensive face, lost in thought, mirrors your own introspection, and as you gaze out the window, contemplating the vastness of the world, you realize that there is so much more to discover, your own understanding of the world. The changing seasons, a testament to the passage of time, remind us that life is in a constant state of flux. The deep conversations we have with others, the exchange of ideas and perspectives, enrich our understanding, and the reflective face in the mirror, a symbol of self-awareness, encourages us to look within and seek the truth. And it is a story that ultimately leaves you with more questions than answers. The labyrinth, with its winding paths and dead ends, represents the complexity of our journey. The person standing at a crossroads, faced with difficult choices, embodies the uncertainty we all face. And the question marks on the screen, a visual representation of our doubts and inquiries, remind us that the search for answers is an ongoing process. But perhaps that is the point. The thoughtful sunset scene, with its serene beauty, suggests that some questions are meant to remain unanswered. The person meditating by the ocean, finding peace in the present moment, teaches us the value of acceptance. And the leaf floating on water, carried by the currents, symbolizes the flow of life and the importance of going with the flow. Maybe some things are not meant to be understood, but simply accepted. The philosophical symbols representing the wisdom of the ages remind us that some truths are beyond our grasp. The person looking at the stars, in awe of the cosmos, reflects our sense of wonder, and the calm and serene landscape, a picture of tranquility, encourages us to find peace in the unknown. Maybe in the end all we can do is have faith. The hands clasped in prayer, a gesture of devotion, signify our reliance on a higher power. The candlelight vigil, a symbol of hope, represents our collective strength. And the sunrise over a peaceful landscape heralding a new day reminds us that with faith, there is always the promise of a brighter tomorrow.